Coming to stage for the first time, the guy we had an absolute blast with. Please welcome Rob Greier. Give him a hand, let him hear it. Come on up. Let him hear it. Come on, keep it going for him.
Thanks, Peter. By the way, it's Greier.
Go Rock!
So, Adam Levine's become a pretty big name in the music industry. He's accomplished quite a bit for someone who sounds like Alvin from Alvin and the Chipmunks. The first time I heard him sing, "This love has taken its toll on me," I was expecting the next line to be, "I still want a whole lot." Adam Levine, baby. What a talent. So, in Hollywood, typically, the leading roles and being good-looking go hand in hand. But this logic is thrown out the window when Tom Hanks stars in a movie. The thing is, Tom Hanks is so good-looking, he can even act that he's good-looking. It's just hard to imagine him ever playing the role of James Bond. That would be like casting me as the lead in the Morgan Freeman story. And I mean, let's face it, our voices sound nothing alike. So for a good while there, it seemed as if the word "really" had become its own catchphrase. "You're making spaghetti again, Mom? Really? It's supposed to rain tomorrow? Really?" So I was curious how this all came to be. So one day, I asked Siri, "What's the story with this word 'really'?" And she just goes, "Really, Rob? Really?" Thank you. So, I was always curious as to what John Lennon's final words were. And I did my research and I came across this. "I wasn't trying to suggest the Beatles were more important than Jesus. I was just saying the Beach Boys are a bunch of pussies." So, I'll bring this up again. My last name is pronounced Greier, but for some reason, when people read it for the first time, they can't pronounce it. The most common mispronunciation is Greier, but I've heard so many other ones that are worse. I've heard Geier, Greier, Greier, Greier. My favorite though is Gretier. I mean, the person must have thought I was French or something. At this point, I wish I had an easier last name like Krzyzewski or Roethlisberger. So, I'm not really a big fan of traveling. I mean, I gotta be honest, I'm kind of boring in that regard, but people always tell me, "Yeah, Rob, you should go on vacation more." And I just said, why would I want to do that? I have Long Island at the tip of my fingers, and I have New York City within an arm's reach. And besides, if you've ever seen the movie The Truman Show with Jim Carrey, it's safe to assume that his character wasn't based on my life story. I'm not trying to go to Fiji, people. I barely leave Nassau County. I did, however, visit Florida once in 1992. So, thank you. So now I'd like to take this time to address the elephant in the room, which happens to be my head. As you can see, there isn't any hair on it. But, I used to shave my head for charity, but then she got another job and started working at a different strip club. I haven't seen her since. I did, however, get my big break recently when I was asked to appear in a nationally televised TV commercial. The only problem was it was a shampoo commercial. As luck would have it, though, down the hall they were auditioning for a different type of commercial, and I'm proud to say that I'm now the new Mr. Clean. So, last week at the gym, I was talking to this Indian guy, and he tells me, "You know what? I really like this Donald Trump guy. He has some great ideas, especially wanting to get the illegals out of the country." So I just said to him, "How do you feel about that, though? Are you worried at all?" He just says, dude, why would I be worried? I'm from Hicksville. So you often hear people refer to themselves as die-hard Yankee fans. But this expression doesn't really work in many other situations. You're probably not going to hear anyone say they're a die-hard fan of the Lifetime movies. Hey, did you catch that movie on the Lifetime channel the other day? The one where David Cassidy plays a blind pedophile going through a midlife crisis? Yeah, I didn't think so. So, I've had my share of odd jobs through the years. For a while there, I was the mascot for the New York Islanders. I was also Ed Harris's limo driver for a few years. And one summer, I even took a job as a roadie for Hootie and the Blowfish. But most recently, I lost my job. I was the quality control manager at a rub and tug. It's okay though, the benefits weren't that good anyway. But now I'm working at Starbucks. And, thank you. Yeah, I gotta say, I like interacting with the public. It's a cool thing. And just last week, this beautiful woman came in, and she says, right after getting her drink, she comes up to me and says, hey, can you get a little bit more foam? So I said, sure. Would you like it breve? Extra hot? Would you like it dry? Or wet? So she says, okay, I'm calling the cops. So this election year, it's been entertaining, if nothing else. From day to day, you don't know what to expect. Is today's coverage going to consist of yelling, name calling? Is it going to have wrestling maneuvers, maybe water gun fights? I mean, I really don't see anyone this year that resembles a winner. So I think this year, instead of doing that, we should just vote for which Cleveland sports franchise will win a championship first. Personally, I've got my money on the Native Americans, the Indians. So anyway, a few weeks ago, my girlfriend broke up with me. Yeah, I know. So the next day, I leave her a voicemail as Jerry Seinfeld. How could you do this to me? I couldn't have possibly been any nicer to you. So later that day, she leaves me a voicemail as Lois Griffin from Family Guy. Here goes. Oh, I just didn't find you that interesting. You aren't good looking like Tom Hanks. Oh, my husband, Peter. Oh, Peter. Thank you. So we've all heard of Carfax, right? So just last month, they released a new service. It's called SexFax. It allows users to know the history of potential sexual partners that they might have. So I was looking at a SexFax just last week of this woman that I was considering dating. And it said, she only had 2 previous owners. So I was like, all right. But then, the alarming part was when I discovered how many times she had been rear-ended. And if that wasn't bad enough, the worst part was when I noticed that she had her odometer rolled back. And this is why I can't stress enough the importance of reading over an entire SexFax report. So, I think there's only a select few who can justify being known as just one name. Like people like Elvis, Prince, Madonna, Beavis. So I was looking at my boss recently, and I was telling him, one day I want to make a cappuccino so incredible, people will walk into Starbucks and say, I want a Rob. My boss just goes, Rob, really? And I gotta say, I really love the voice that's used in movie trailers. It's a nice voice. I love it so much, in fact, I decided to make my own trailer. From the studio who brought you I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I still know what you did last summer. Comes the not so thrilling conclusion to this forgettable trilogy. I still have a pretty decent understanding as to what you did last summer. In theaters, hopefully never. Thank you, everyone.
Let's go first.